All right, we ready?
Pin ready. Horn ready. Ready.
All right. James, how was work?
Dude, it was fucking a day. It was pretty busy. I'm tired.
Yeah. All right.
On and on fumes. Ready to go.
All right. We love that for you. All right, let's kick it off. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the BOTA Show. I am going to be your honorable host, Soggy Boy, the Soggy One. With me today, I have Chris and a special appearance from James driving home from work. Boys, howdy. How we doing?
Driving.
The best part is Chris and I are going to be having like conversations, and then 5 seconds later, James is going to scream something. It's going to be great. All right. Well, we have a great episode of the BOTA Show for you guys today. We're going to go over our usual stuff. We got the BOTA news. I almost didn't have to do the gauntlet today, but James showed up. So now I have somebody else to victimize. Thanks, James.
I thought the gauntlet was a victimless crime.
Now, God, are you kidding me? Don't be so naive.
There are bodies everywhere left behind by the gauntlet.
Yes, let the bodies hit the floor. All right, well, let's start off.
Let the bodies hit the
BOTA news. There it is. That's news. All right. Well, let's start with some light NFL news here. Jalen Hurts changes his number from 2 to 1. How exciting!
Wow. Wild.
How exciting. Yeah. Well, the underlying news to this is the NFL is there's an amendment on the table. I believe it's from the Ravens, where certain skill position players can now change their number and can have single digit numbers. It's on the table. I don't know if it passed though.
It's just gonna be weird.
I know it's quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, cornerbacks, I think. I mean, as a college football fan, I fucking love it. It just feels like a natural transition, and single digit numbers are badass.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really going to affect gameplay, and it's just something that the players I'm sure have wanted for a long time. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm with it. I can't wait to see middle linebacker with like number 9. I think like single digit linebackers, those are fire.
I don't know if they were linked into it, but I'm into it. You know?
Yeah, I'm into it.
Cool.
Chris, opinion.
I don't know.
No.
So used to, certain positions being certain numbers now. I don't know how I'll do with it. Plus, it's going to piss a lot of people in the NFL off, I think.
I don't know. I think
like
they can
you're
go
a
over
receiver trying to go for like 10, 11, 14, maybe not 12. It could be 12.
No.
Well, but
Single digits,
but
Chris.
single digits, like receiver, like 7 or 2 or whatever.
Yeah. Think about that punter that comes in and takes 7. If you're a receiver now, you're pissed.
Yeah, the dude is special teams for a reason.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah, fuck that. All right.
Except for Pat McAfee.
Fuck 'em.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
why.
obviously, okay, so moving on. Love Pat McAfee. What a legend. The big news going on in the NFL is Deshaun Watson. And it looks like the Texans are not hopeful that he's going to play for them during the season because they are looking to possibly sign Alex Smith in case he doesn't come back.
3 weeks ago.
So
you can't have someone play when they have over 20 allegations against them.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you really can't. You really can't.
I love how he kept sitting out. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's okay. You're very
Crackly.
Choppy.
Yeah.
All right, I'll set this one out.
No. Just try and bring your phone closer or something, and just do the volume.
Put it in your butt.
Is this better?
No.
All right.
Is it are you on Bluetooth on your car?
Probably. I'll have to figure that out. Just keep running with it. I'll chime back in later.
Yeah. Don't leave. I don't want you to leave. All right. Anyways, so
Leaves.
There was news that there were, massage therapists like vouching for him, vouching for on his behalf. But I don't know if I can, put any credibility to that. His lawyer came out and said something, but unless we see the evidence, I mean, I don't know. It's just a crazy story. It keeps developing, twists and turns everywhere. We'll see if he even plays, so I don't know. But I mean, obviously, with offseason going on and all the free agent signings and stuff like that, this is huge because this is a premier talent in the NFL. And I mean, it's we're seeing it again. You know what I mean? Another big name in the NFL going through one of these things again. One of these things, a case, just being not a good person. You know what I mean? I don't know any other way to put that, but
no, that's exactly right. And
yeah,
this one stings a little more because I think we all had liked Watson back in the day.
Yeah, and he seemed like he was a good guy and all that kind of stuff. And
exactly.
then shit comes out, so we'll see.
And then it comes out that he had 19 massage therapists stare at his penis.
Yeah, it's just not
Kinda
good.
strange.
Anyways, moving on.
What an interesting statement. He said he had 9.
Okay.
Yes, that.
He had
just
9.
repeating.
His Bluetooth
He
cut
had
out.
9. Yeah, he keeps cutting out. All right, well.
God damn it.
This is so sad. I want James in the podcast. All right, moving on. 49ers, they have officially set a price for Jimmy Garoppolo. They want a first-round pick. They're most likely going to get a first-round pick out of him. There are plenty of teams that would give up a first-round pick. There are plenty of teams that would give up a first-round pick, including the Patriots, to grab Jimmy Garoppolo.
For Jimmy G?
He's gone.
No way,
Yes.
dude.
Why would you not get – I'm sorry, but if you're a team
Jimmy
that
G.
doesn't draft a quarterback that can play right away and you need a quarterback, Jimmy G for a first-round pick is really not that bad.
It's an absolutely terrible deal. Jimmy G is so injury prone.
It
He's
is
not that great of a quarterback.
It's not a good deal, seeing as though Carson Wentz went for a second, a third, and a conditional second. Like what?
Carson Wentz is worse, but that doesn't.
Oh,
they're
wait a minute.
uncomparable.
Hold on there. Carson Wentz is not worse than Jimmy G.
Injury-wise,
bold
100%.
statement.
Bold statement where, James? On which side?
I'm saying bold statement. I think Carson Wentz is way better. If you're saying on injuries,
I'm saying injury-wise,
okay, but I think Carson
not
Wentz is way
skill-wise.
better.
Carson Wentz is way more injury prone than Jimmy G.
I don't even know about that. Jimmy G is pretty injury prone. I mean, he got injured with the Patriots after the third game playing for us after Brady got suspended in 2014. Then when he got traded, he got hurt the season he started for them, and then played a season and they got hurt again. So, I mean,
Carson Wentz missed 3 seasons in a row.
Oh, didn't?
He tore his leg in half in one.
Yeah, but he played
then
a 14,
broke his back
15
in
game
another
season. We can go into this another time, but I mean, I think that, comparatively, like, asking for a first rounder for Jimmy, where Carson Wentz only got, with the Eagles only got a third round and a conditional second round pick for Carson Wentz,
Which could be a first. which could be a first.
It could be a first. It could. That's true. It really could. But, again, Chris isn't wrong when he says Carson Wentz has, a lengthy injury history.
I think
Yeah,
there's,
that dude's medical bills are fucking stacked.
But
Yeah,
it proves my point that he's not worth the first.
Yeah, but I mean, it's gonna be the market. I mean, it's around draft time. Teams are gonna get desperate.
The fact that the 49ers sold out for the next 3 years and now are trying to cover their ass.
No, they didn't sell out for the next 3 years. They sold for a quarterback. They're setting a high price point. That first round is now the ceiling for Jimmy G. Once they draft a quarterback, his price goes down to a second rounder easily. The first round is just throw it into the water, see if I can get a fish.
Yeah. So what team is dumb enough to throw that hook down there without any bait?
Probably the Patriots or Texans.
No, maybe Texans. Texans. I will admit that. If the
Send
Patriots
another
do
first
that, I
round
will
pick
be
away.
absolutely mind blown.
I don't
Bill
know.
Belichick is not that dumb.
He's not a great GM. He's a great coach, not a great GM.
Yeah, but he knows that Jimmy G isn't worth the first.
Okay.
All right. Well, I don't think Jimmy G should be worth a first round pick if Carson Wentz went for that, but it's a different market now because this is the post free agency period, technically speaking. Not really, but most of the big signings are there, already gone. And listen, someone is going to get a first round pick. They're going to get a first round pick from someone. There are too many teams that need a quarterback this season. There really are. There are. So we'll see. Maybe you're right, Chris. Maybe the 49ers still keep Jimmy G and and then don't go for a quarterback. I don't know. I don't know. I don't see it happening.
Here's my late season prediction before we move on. If Jimmy G isn't traded post draft, he will be traded at the deadline to the New York Giants when they realize Daniel Jones is a bag of shit.
I mean, I could see that happening. But that's the thing. So
they realized Daniel Jones was a bag of shit last season. I mean, 2 seasons
you get
ago.
picked 8th overall to the New York Giants, and then you flop for the next 3 seasons. It's not going to earn you any street cred. I want to know, and before we move on, do they still get a first round pick if he makes it out of post free agency, still being on the 49ers or post draft?
I think it's a harder sell. I'm going to say no. You might get a first round pick next year potentially, but
maybe.
I mean, we're also still talking about the draft. That was a dumb statement, but the year after I'd be talking about, you'd be getting one 2 years out. I don't think you'll be getting one for the 2022.
Right. And really, we're looking at, he's not going to get they're not going to get a top 15 pick for this guy. There's no way. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be a late first round pick possibly, and I just don't, and see, the thing is, I don't see any of those late first round teams that need a quarterback. Maybe Washington. I mean, they're like pick 18 or 19, but even that's really high. You know what I mean? So, so a lot of the teams that are picking late, they're not going to trade a late first round pick when they already have a starting quarterback. And Jimmy G is a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
So let's move on. The Bears come out wasting no time naming Andy Dalton the starter. Good luck.
This is your third QB1 in a season plus a season and off season. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, that's gonna end very well for them.
I believe in Andy Dalton more than Jimmy G.
That's asinine.
All right. The Falcons are playing one of their home games in London this season. Also, good luck to that. Because COVID's still a thing. Their opponent has yet to be announced. I don't know who is gonna play. I'm pretty sure the Patriots have a London game this year as well. But we'll
Congratulations to the Falcons for playing the Jaguars, probably.
Most likely. Dude, the Jags play a London game every other year. It's ridiculous.
It's awful. London hates them by now.
I know, which is crazy. Insane. You know how we're going to get the best product across seas? We're going to send the Jacksonville Jaguars. Fucking asinine idea.
The Jacksonville Jaguars to
Playing the
London.
London Silly Ninnies. Oh god. The Colts are signing former Steeler Sean Davis. I think it was like a 1-year deal. I like this for them. I think that's a good call. I like Sean Davis on Pittsburgh. He was good. It's gonna be solid for them, hopefully.
I mean, underrated part of that awesome defense. So
yeah, I agree. They keep adding pieces. They keep looking like they're legitimately in, to win that division next year and to make at least a decent run in the playoffs. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And my last bit of NFL news, we have Tyler Lockett signing a 4-year, $69.2 million extension. Yeah, that's no good. I think that's a terrible move for the Seahawks, honestly. I really do.
Especially with Russell Wilson being in question still.
You gave that man number one money. You wide receiver one money.
I keep going back and forth on it. I want to tell myself it was bad, but I saw some stats the other day where he has been past 3 years leading in like receiving. He's like top 5 in receiving percentage with like 115 targets. He's leading in a bunch of stats, but that is a fuck ton of money to pay for your certified wide receiver too.
Well, that's the thing too, is like, he was your wide receiver one for like 2 years. And then, once DK played, you could tell like, oh, well, DK is most likely going to take over. And then DK became number one last year for them. I mean, maybe not on the stat sheet specifically, but you could kind of tell, it was DK and everyone else.
Yeah.
And so I think based solely on that, the transition of power really in that wide receiver locker room, it is DK Metcalf now. And yes, Tyler Lockett is a great piece to have. I mean, he's still up there in, as being a number one wide receiver, at least in fantasy or whatever. But I just don't see the money in this deal. Because I just think that, at least next season, I'm sure he'll do fine. But, the season after that, Russell Wilson, the last 2 seasons has really not been good in the second half. He's done phenomenal in state. Excuse me. And he just hasn't been the same Russ, from those first 8 as he's been in the last 8 games for the past 2 seasons. And, having a guy like Tyler Lockett obviously helps that, helps it to hopefully boost that. But they need to really bolster that offensive line is what I'm saying.
You know when Russell Wilson fell downhill?
No.
Since he lost his virginity. He was great when he was an outspoken virgin.
I hate to say it, dude, but Chris has got a fucking point.
I'm not even gonna lie. Like,
this is sad.
I wasn't even like, that wasn't my disagreeing face. That was my, wait, you're right face. Like, wait a minute, dude. Ever since he started dating and married Sierra, it's been just downhill for him.
Dude, it's his blue balls. Once he lost his blue balls, his whole skill level just went downhill.
Well, anyways, let's move on out of the NFL.
I hate you for that point. I fucking hate you for that point. That's
a
so
good point.
Goddamn accurate.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
That is a certified quote on the Instagram.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Thank you.
Moving on to NBA news. Kevin Durant, the big story, him and Michael Rappaport, their text conversation was leaked by Michael Rappaport. And KD was fined $50,000 for, I believe it was, there were just some comments being made about, I can't even, I won't even get into the details.
Can I touch on this a little bit?
I'm not going to get into the details about that.
I didn't want to blow it up on Instagram. I agree in the sense where I don't think the NBA should have the right to go and find someone outside of the league for something like that, especially when it was a private conversation that was leaked.
I agree.
Leaked by someone in the conversation per se, but I don't agree with the way that Kevin Durant talks on social media.
Well, I
But
think
it's like Michael Rappaport's kind of a scumbag too.
well, yeah, I mean, I think the action was despicable. What he said was despicable, but you have to separate that from in-game in league stuff because he's not saying that to, I guess they weren't words that were spoken out loud. It was a private conversation between him and, someone that has status. Michael Rappaport has status. You know what I mean? In, private conversation. So, it's shitty what Michael Rappaport did, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, now we know Kevin Durant is a closet homophobe. Like, clearly.
I agree. And it's
So-
like, it's just one of those weird situations because it's like, I agree that you're a face of the league. So on and off the court,
Perfect.
you need to be respectful and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the NBA is not like a boarding school, you know? They're not there 24/7 to monitor every single thing you do. It's just one of those tough situations. Dude, don't get me wrong. Kevin Durant is, like Zach said, a closet homophobe, and his actions or his words are despicable. But Michael Rappaport knew the outcome that would come from leaking it and is also a piece of shit.
So, I mean,
Yeah, I
my
know.
perspective on this is like, you're right. No one should be ever using that language, right? Fucking note one. Note two, Michael Rappaport is a fucking weasel. Like, he's a money, like, attention whore weasel. He's always been that.
Always. Yeah.
Like, whatever he can do to stay in the light. So that's why leaking this gets him that little bit of pop 15 minutes again, right?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
on
like,
the devil's
and it's
advocate
off of him.
side, right? But playing devil's advocate to the NBA, Chris, you said it. Like, Kevin Durant is a top 5 player. He is a face of the NBA. He's something that is supposed to be like the brand. So when you sign these big contracts, you got to realize you are a face. So
Right.
you can only do certain things, right? Like, you
Yeah.
can't go around and fuck around and like call people those words very openly on written text,
Mm-hmm.
which it's there's a level to it where the NBA shouldn't be involved, in my opinion. But with something like that, like if he just called him a bitch, it's like, all right, maybe like talk to Kevin Durant. But what he said, I do think there should be some consequence to it.
Well, I'll leave it with this, and then I have to go to the comments with our favorite guest.
Oh yeah, baby.
I think that I agree with you. I think Michael Rappaport is a weasel. I think his 15 minutes of fame was on Friends, and he could never get over that. I really think that it would be a little different. Say if I mean, I would say looking at the entire situation, did he do anything, or was it just something he said in confidence to Michael Rappaport?
Michael Rappaport called him out for not doing an interview with, I think, like Chuck or something the night after.
Mm-hmm.
And so Katie
Okay.
snapped back with that. I think like he called Katie like a little bitch for not doing the post-game interview after a loss or something like that.
Okay, right. And then Katie called Michael Rappaport?
Katie slid in his DMs and went after him like that.
Okay.
Well, this is after Michael Rappaport's trying to get the heat off of him because this is, I think, the same timeline that he was absolutely embarrassed in a defamation lawsuit against Barstool Sports.
Yeah.
So he
Also
completely
fair.
lost that. So I think he's trying to get the name off himself because everyone was like, you're a fucking idiot, Rappaport. You're nothing.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, something like that, if you're going to call someone out, after a loss or saying something like that, and then you get chirped back in private, and then you go and, like, say something, no, sorry, you're a weasel. Like, if that's the situation, then fuck him. Like, he is a little bitch. But, again, Kevin Durant probably shouldn't have said that. Or, no, he shouldn't have said that. But, I mean, even though it's in private, it's a private conversation, you just don't say something like that. End of story. But we'll move on from that. Both of them are in the wrong. I just Katie, get healthy. Thanks, Phil. All right, Phil, let me get to your football question because I missed it. That's my bad. So Phil has a comment in here. If the Falcons draft Kyle Pitts, how will they do this season offensively? I mean, it'll be interesting
Electric factory.
It's if they do draft Kyle Pitts, Matt Ryan will have his tight end back. I mean, he had Tony Gonzalez. He had those seasons of Austin Hooper, who, played like a tight end one. And so getting a player like Kyle Pitts back into that position is only going to do good things for that offense in Atlanta. I mean, I don't think it does them much good because they're not going to probably make the playoffs, but we could see a really dynamic offense, a lot different from how it was last year. I mean, if you get a guy like Kyle Pitts and they spread the ball down the field, that's only going to open the field up for Todd Gurley. And let's not forget, he could still have it in the tank.
Isn't TG a free agent?
Is he?
I think TG 400's a
oh
free
shit!
agent.
I didn't know that. See, I didn't know that.
I thought so. I might be wrong in that, but either way, the biggest differentiating factor between a tight end like Tony Gonzalez or Austin Hooper and Kyle Pitts is Kyle Pitts is basically just a big X receiver. Like he's a big bodied X.
Right. But again, even if it's you get a different guy like that in there, you're still adding that to an offense that has Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
So
I think it does great things for that offense.
Like that, like Matt Ryan would arguably have one of the best, wide receiver tight end arsenals in the league.
Oh yeah, I mean,
not even a shot. Yeah. But so yeah, I mean, to answer your question fully, Phil, yes, I think that not yes, but I think with Kyle Pitts, the Falcons would be a top 10 offense, possibly a top 5 offense. I mean, we saw what Matt Ryan could do with the weapons he had when he won the MVP a couple years ago. And they still scored a lot of points last season. Don't get me wrong. They have the weapons. It's that defense that sucks. So if they get better on defense, if that defense has a better season, we could see them, go right near or above 500. But I think it's all going to be about how that division is formed. What's up, James?
RIP 500.
RIP 500.
You can't go 500 if there's 17 games.
Oh yeah, that's right. Shit,
Very fair.
I forgot about that.
Actually, if you tie one game, could you?
No, because your percentage is point whatever. Oh, whatever.
Yeah,
0.5. A tie would be a 0.5.
No, because it I think it tilts the scale on a win-loss ratio. I think it puts it if it, instead of 500, it would be 500 point 2-5 or some shit.
Yeah. It would be something
or
like that.
5-5-0 or something like that. Anyway.
All right, moving on. Let's go back to our NBA news here. Let's see where
Quick
we at.
update.
So, what's up?
Gonzaga has just come back and tied UCLA.
Oh shit! All right, well.
Damn UCLA, let's go.
Come to an end.
UCLA has been winning the entire time. But anyways, yes. James Harden, Damian Lillard, both of them are climbing in the MVP race rankings. Obviously, with LeBron being out, I don't know who's gonna win it this year. I mean, obviously with LeBron being out, he was most likely gonna end up winning it. I don't, because if he doesn't come back before the end of the season, then it's not gonna work.
Dude,
he's gonna get MVP, comeback player of the year.
How do you get comeback player of the year like that? What?
Zach, are you wearing a watch currently?
No.
All right. Chris, are you wearing a watch currently?
Is it Dame time?
No.
It's fucking Dame time.
Thank you, baby.
Dame deserves this award.
Yes, he does. Thank you.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yes.
Dame is their entire offense. He's just the driving force in Portland. It is so electric to watch him every night.
He's so nasty.
He needs the award. It's not a should, it's a need, it's a deserve.
Yeah. No, you're right. I 100% agree with you. He really, really does deserve that award, and it's going to be really stupid when he ends up, being number 2 to some other option that people voted for no fucking reason.
Yep. We'll see.
I mean, always how it works. Always
I'm not taking away from James Harden because he's had a great year, but
no, he has.
Dame time.
He has. But he also has Kyrie and KD and LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, he's got the weapons. Yeah. It's Dame time.
Yeah, it has to be Damian Lillard. It has to be.
With that being said, CJ McCollum's a beast. That's it. Dame time. MVP.
Isaiah Thomas finds a temporary new home. I never knew this was a thing, but the Pelicans signed him as on for a 10-day contract. Didn't know.
Yes,
didn't know
it's basically a trial deal.
Oh, okay. So if he does, if they like what they see out of him, they'll actually sign him. If not, they can just let him go.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is interesting.
I've been keeping up with the new teams that all those Houston players have been going to. Obviously, Victor Oladipo going to the Heat. James Harden went to the Nets. Russell Westbrook is still fucking impressive, guys. He posted a 35, 14, 21 triple-double the other night, which is fucking ridiculously impressive. I mean, even on bad teams, Russell Westbrook is still fucking amazing. I know James probably has more to say about that, but he is currently muted, so we will move on. But I still believe the 76ers and the Jazz are in first place in their conferences. If I find out any differently, I'll tell you. But I lied. The Nets are now in first place. The Nets have taken over first place of the Eastern Conference over the 76ers, which honestly was inevitable. And yeah, the Jazz are still in first place in the conference. They still only have 11 losses, which is insane. I feel like 5 weeks ago we were talking about them at 9. So the fact that they still only have 11 losses is crazy. Mm-hmm. James is still muted. All right, well, let's move on. We got our March Madness, and we're getting down to the wire, boys. We have our final four matchup. It's going on right now. It's Gonzaga and UCLA. Chris, I know you mentioned this maybe 2 or 3 minutes ago. The Zags tied it up, and they eventually took the lead against the Bruins. 45-44 right now, Gonzaga over UCLA. Our game earlier, we had Baylor against Houston. Baylor won easily by 19 points, covered their spread. Say what you want, about how good Gonzaga is. I mean, obviously undefeated since last season, but whatever team goes into, the actual championship is going to have a really tough time against Baylor. I mean, they've played very well against every team that they've played in this bracket. So
Baylor has been killing it.
Yeah.
Baylor is a physical ass team. They are big and they're strong and they'll punch you in the mouth.
Hey, you know what? That's a formula for success in a lot of sports. So we'll see. Obviously, we still have a whole nother half of basketball. Gonzaga
punching
was
in the
down.
mouth is a big form in a lot of sports.
Yeah. What do you mean? Look at hockey. Teams that play
other than hockey, you said a lot of sports. Who else gets punched in the mouth?
Look at football. Teams that run the ball hard. The Patriots in 2018, they punched you in the face with their run game, and literally they punched the Chargers in the mouth in the AFC wildcard game, like 45-10. So yeah, it happens in other sports.
I didn't see a punch, but
oh my God, why are we so fucking literal? All right, moving on. On to the NHL. We're going on the ice. The icy side. Buffalo tied the streak. But
you can't even win at that, Buffalo.
I know. You can't even. I know. You end up tying the 03-04 Penguins on that losing streak. I have to say the Penguins one was worse because they went 0-17-1. This Buffalo team went, I think, 0-15-2 or something. Or 0-14-4 or something like that. So, yeah, they still got more points out of it. But they ended up winning against the Flyers. They won 6-1, so they definitely ended it with with an oomph. So that's good for them. They still suck. They're still the worst team in the league. They're still gonna have a fire sale. None of that changes. They're just gonna go back and
but the fact
get
of the
their
matter
ass
for
spanked
me
for the next
is
4 games in a row, anyways.
you lose 18 in a row, and then you blow the Flyers out 6-1.
And then you lose to the Rangers in OT the next game because Mika Zibanejad's like God.
How?
That's just how it is, man. Like when you're a team that has a top 3 pick every other year, I mean, you either learn to get good or you just learn to be a bottom feeder. And Buffalo has learned to be a bottom feeder. I mean, hell, look at the Browns for how many years? I mean, seriously, like James just gave me the finger guns because he knows it's true. Like sometimes as a team, you just get used to being a bottom feeder, and whether you want to or not, you stay there. Buffalo has been like that. Detroit's been like that since like 2014, since they realigned and went to a different conference. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with them. But the Bruins are in trouble. The Flyers are in trouble. This Eastern Division is about to go topsy-turvy. The Bruins did beat the Penguins today 7-5. So that's good. Nice sigh of relief for Bruins fans. The Flyers are still in trouble. I've been hearing a lot of rumors that the Flyers might end up selling this deadline. So we might be looking at a huge momentum shift in the East, especially for the Rangers, who are on fire right now. Mika Zibanejad, like I mentioned earlier, he's lighting the lamp. He's got like 10 goals in his last 5 games. He's killing it right now. I mean, the dude is just finding ways to put the puck in the back of the net, no matter what. Gotta like how the Rangers are playing right now. I mean, gotta like it. They're playing some really good hockey. They're getting a lot of point scoring from their defense. Adam Fox has been a surprising. I guess he's a rookie, right? I think he's a rookie. Surprising point scoring out of him. I mean, I think he's either second or third in overall points scored for a defenseman. So, I mean, that's huge. Vancouver has an issue with COVID right now. They have about 7 players on the COVID list. It went down from the other day. Their games have been postponed until April 6th. So
April 8th.
It's the 8th now? It was the 6th the other day. They postponed it again.
When I looked last time, it was the 8th.
Well, I know it's technically until further notice, until whenever they can figure out their shit, but that's not good. Canada was supposed to be the division that didn't have any issues with this, and now Vancouver's getting hit. Montreal got hit. So we're starting to see some, that Canadian division kind of fall behind in games. Mm-hmm. The trade deadline is coming. The trade deadline will be here very, very soon. I don't remember the date. I'm pretty sure it's next Tuesday. Let's see.
You know what that means, Zach? I'll see you next Tuesday.
Yep.
Oh.
NHL trade deadline.
I'll pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
I don't know what that means.
The trade deadline, I lied. The trade deadline is April 12th. So whatever day that is. So that is
2 Tuesdays.
Yes. No, it's next Monday.
All right.
It is next Monday. So next Monday is your NHL trade deadline.
Hopefully
the Bruins make a move. I'm looking for the Bruins to make 2 very big splashes. They need a top 6 line forward, or a second line forward. They need that extra scoring, and they need a left shot defenseman. They need one really bad. Matthias Ekholm. Go get Matthias Ekholm, please.
What does that mean?
You don't know. It doesn't matter. Division leaders. I got the Maple Leafs in the north, the Capitals in the east, the Avalanche in the west. They've taken over for the Golden Knights momentarily. And still in the lead in the central, James, your Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah, that's right. Chris,
I haven't watched a fucking game.
Chris, we're moving on. We're moving on to baseball. I'm going to hand it over to you, my co-anchor. Chris Fracassi.
Welcome to the MLB.
Ooh,
all right.
hot.
So, our biggest MLB news. The All-Star Game and the draft has been moved out of Atlanta, Georgia, and all of Georgia for that matter.
That is huge.
We didn't touch too much about it on Instagram, but it's ridiculous that politics play a part in the sport, but the MLB is its own private organization. They have their own choice in the long run. So that's being moved. Now, on to the Red Sox.
We
They're
suck.
looking
That's
great.
it. And done.
They look
See you.
great.
0-2.
We suck.
It's sarcasm.
We suck.
We
We're
are
a bag of shit.
0-2 to the Orioles, who had a 0.00% chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah, now they're 2-0. They look like they're gonna make the playoffs, all right.
I mean, one loss is
Baltimore
okay.
Electric Factory.
When we won
100%
our
making the
04,
playoffs.
when we won the 04, the 07, and the 18 World Series, we lost the first game.
And to be fair, we blew out the we blew out Baltimore opening day last year. So maybe this is a sign of
Yeah,
good
we
thing.
were the worst. If we lose the
Yeah.
first game, I'd say it's a sign. If we lose 2 games in a row to the worst team in the league, I wouldn't say it's a good sign.
I don't know about that. The
offense
Pirates are
is
probably the worst
struggling.
team in the league, but
Huh,
Pirates are pretty fucking awful.
Pirates are pretty bad.
not as bad as the Orioles. Well, how the Orioles should
Oh,
be.
Trey Mancini's back, baby. Come on.
Yeah, that is
Give him
true.
credit.
The offense for the Red Sox is struggling big time. They had in yesterday's game only 2 hits total. I think today they had 3.
They're gonna be a last place team. I mean, I don't know what anyone else expects from them.
They're not a
I
last.
disagree
They
with
are a
that.
last place team.
I disagree with
not.
that.
You have a good spring training, and I'll give it to them. They had a good spring training. They got off to a nice start, but that's where it's gonna end. I'm sorry, they're not a good team. They're gonna need a lot of time to really build back up, and I just don't see the same thing happening here as it did with Tampa Bay. I don't think Chaim Bloom is gonna be able to, really get that turnaround going as fast as he thinks it's gonna happen.
I'm gonna put a strong X on that one.
Agreed.
I think what we
They
have
just
in the
went from
pipeline.
playing.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead, James.
I think what we showed in spring training is what we have in the pipeline. We don't have those players ready to go yet. They are still in our farm system. They're still developing. I still have a lot of faith in Jeter Downs. I wrote a bunch of stuff about him. I think it's a wait and see. I don't think we're going to come out hot and swinging, which is fine. I think if we hit the All-Star break hot and then we finish the last part of the year hot, that's all I could ask.
Right. Well, we'll have to see. But what I'm saying, is obviously 0-2 to the Orioles, whatever. It's the beginning of the season. That's fine. I just overall don't see it, at least for this season. That's what I'm saying. I think looking at what Chaim Bloom did with Tampa, they had a fire sale the year before that. The year after, they make a really strong push, make it to the playoffs. Then the year after that, they make the World Series. So, I mean, I just don't see that happening here with what the Red Sox have.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll
So,
see, though. Chris,
The
go ahead.
Red Sox just went from playing in 73-degree weather to playing in 38-degree weather. That one plays a big difference anyways.
Okay,
Two,
but so do the Orioles. So,
yeah,
The
they've
Orioles
been
actually
low-scoring
did
games, though.
Spring training in
But-
Anchorage.
all right. Well, that changes nothing.
I was being sarcastic when I said that the Red Sox look great, but they do not look terrible. It's still early in the season. We're playing our first
No, they're-
series.
They're not getting
They'll
blown out.
find their stride. The offense will start getting their bats hot. It's not the end of the world. They're
Yeah,
not
I
going to
gotta
be
say-
a last place team this year.
I gotta say,
They also have Michael Chavis in the farm system down in Worcester.
that one didn't make sense to me. He had a pretty decent spring training. I know what they're seeing there, but I gotta say, starting pitching not looking as bad as I thought it would.
No, the starting pitching looked fine. It really did. Evaldi played fine. I don't know who pitched today, but he had some junk. He was
Lefty Sale, dude. I can't think of his name,
That
but
wasn't Sale.
that's what everyone's calling him.
Oh, lefty Sale.
Yeah, they call him Lefty Sale or Righty Sale. I don't
That
know.
would
I
be
think
righty Sale.
Sale's a lefty.
Sale's a lefty. Yeah.
Chris Sale's a lefty.
Yeah.
Righty Sale.
Yeah. Well,
I know my team.
Yeah. Apparently. Yeah. No. I mean, the starting pitching is definitely looking a lot better than it has been, but it's going to be interesting to see.
Our new
Sorry.
closer is really good too.
Yeah,
Who-
fuck Matt Barnes. Get that dude out of here. Odavino or whatever.
Why do you hate Matt Barnes so bad?
Matt Barnes is a bag of shit, and I don't understand why people love him so much. He's not
I'm just
good.
wondering why you don't like him so much.
because he's not good. He's inconsistent I'll give it a 40% time that he's actually good. 60% of the time he's awful.
I think
Yeah,
you're
dude.
thinking of the wrong person.
Clay Buchholz, you're right.
No, not Clay Buchholz.
Chris,
Give me a
move on.
no-hitter and then do nothing
Move
for the
on.
rest of your fucking
Move on.
career.
Move
Why
on.
is my camera so blurry?
I don't know.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. Moving on. The Cardinals and the Reds clear benches from a play at plate.
Yeah, baby. Posted on BOTA Instagram.
Didn't see it. Sounds great. Need to find it and watch it.
It was great. It was a wild pitch. I can't think of who it was. Jumped up and like celebrated, but it was like in the pitcher's face.
Nick Castellanos of the Reds hit in the shoulder by a pitch. Then,
Before, yeah.
And then he slides into home and collides with the pitcher on a wild pitch.
I didn't think it was necessarily the collision because that was like a 50-50 play.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what everyone kept calling it as. Like, oh, it was a collision. I think it was more the celebration of him jumping up and like kind of like flexing. Didn't look like it was at the pitcher, but it was above the pitcher.
Yeah. And
no, so Castellanos slid in head first and he was already sliding and the pitcher just happened to be running at home and he slid into his legs. So then Castellanos jumped up and the pitcher was Jake Woodford and he flexed over Woodford, which got the catcher very mad, and that's what cleared the benches.
Well, Jake Woodford, don't get rocked next time, and then you won't have to deal with that kind of shit.
Okay, maybe throw an accurate fucking throw.
Yeah, maybe.
It was a wild pitch.
Plate. It was very wild.
Love it. All right,
All right.
Chris.
Moving on though. Josh Donaldson out with hamstring tightness.
Well, Josh Donaldson never not be hurt.
It's either he's hurt or he's on steroids. So, take your pick.
Yeah, good point. I mean, I'd rather have him on steroids.
Yeah, also fair.
I mean, that's easy choice. Josh Donaldson on fucking PCP. I'll do it.
HGH, PCP, give me all the goddamn initials.
And Josh Donaldson's making out with the left field wall.
HDMI. Josh Donaldson, ACMI. Let's do it.
Josh Donaldson. Fucking
AT&T Plus.
Xbox.
Give him a Coca-Cola Zero. Josh Donaldson's better like that.
Michael Brantley nailed by a pitch in the right wrist. Leaves game. I saw the video on that. That had to fucking hurt. Did anybody see that?
Who is Michael Brantley?
I did not.
A MLB player, Zach.
And MLB player.
Just one.
MLB player. So,
you're right.
Yeah. But the video was nasty. He gets drilled like right in the to your right. So if I'm throwing right here, it's like right
wrist
here, right in like the ball.
That's tough.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the MLB is using their poop method, which is people order our product, and you should do that too, and order our product.
I agree.
And take it away, Zach.
All right. Well, after that riveting poop demonstration, Chris, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Move on. We'll go into our next segment here. That was the BOTA News. James, you made it home just in time. I know you're going to get dinner ready, but I hope you can multitask because we got some debation.
My steak.
That steak almost just fell right onto the counter.
Almost lost all of it.
That would have been amazing if I heard the sound through the microphone. I would have lost it.
I know, right?
Chris, are you ready for some debation, sir?
Yes, I don't understand the question.
Welcome to Master Debaters. Yeah, you should.
Debating. Let me get my hand.
All right. Guys, welcome to Master Debaters. Thank you so much for coming here to the BOTA Show to watch us make fool of ourselves. Guys,
Zach.
Which GOAT of their sport has the biggest gap between his or her contemporaries?
Oh,
Yeah, it's a good question, right?
Can you explain the question?
So basically, the GOAT of any sport, so tennis, women's tennis, men's tennis. What I'm saying is any of the leagues. So I think we can agree that Brady is the GOAT of football, right?
Yep.
I would argue that Michael Jordan is still the GOAT of basketball, but even for those that want to say LeBron is, we can say Jordan or LeBron. I think it's a consensus pick for Gretzky for the NHL. And then MLB, God knows. I don't know.
MLB?
Yeah.
Babe Ruth?
Would you pick Babe Ruth? I'd probably pick Hank Aaron.
Ken Griffey Jr.?
Oh, I'm chewing.
He's chewing. All right, well.
Baseball is harder to do because each position has its own individual aspects that make it unique.
I very much agree with
fair.
that.
That's fair. Well,
you could have a GOAT pitcher or you could have a GOAT catcher, but saying generalization, no.
Well, I would say best pitcher of all time is probably oh my God, Randy Johnson. I had him.
I'll take Greg Maddux
because he killed a bird.
Greg Maddux. Well, I mean, no, that's
someone
cool,
kills a bird doesn't make them a good
the
pitcher.
dude threw gas. He won the Cy Young 10 times, didn't he?
I'm ridiculous. I'd either take Nolan or Greg Maddux, but that's a whole nother debate.
Yeah, that's fair, but it doesn't matter. The point is,
want to take a guess, Zach, of who James GOAT baseball player is?
No, I have no idea.
Number 5.
Nomar.
Yeah.
Nomar's not the
James's
best baseball player of all time. That's asinine.
Here's my favorite, but I will never give him the.
Yeah,
I meant GOAT as favorite.
Yeah, well,
Sorry.
no, but that's not how that works though. Greatest of all time and my favorite of all time are different. There's
And
a
I was
difference
just going to
between
call you my
and
GOAT,
Fote.
Zach. I guess not.
Goat and Fote. We're not
No,
talking
you're
about
not.
the Fote. We're talking about the goat.
Zach, you're my Fote.
I know I'm your favorite. But anyways, to the debate, which GOAT of their sport is, has a bigger gap between his contemporaries? Meaning, is there someone that is gonna basically how I looked at this is I took, at least the 4 major sports and, individual sports that have people that have done so much that they, can have a considerable gap. So, Serena Williams or Venus Williams.
Can you explain this like I'm 5?
Are you saying it like a time gap or like a talent gap?
A talent. Well, I guess it wouldn't even be a talent gap. I would just say, if you consider someone a GOAT, looking at them and their contemporaries around them. So, I'll you know what? Let me explain my argument here. So, my answer to that would be Tom Brady, because I don't think any of his contemporaries are even close to his accomplishments, in which why that makes him the GOAT.
You've used contemporary so many times. I don't think you know what that word means.
I physically do. It means the people that are around him that have played with him, or people that were playing with him at the same time. His contemporaries means people that are on the same status as him.
So can you now explain this like I'm 3?
Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
I'm fine.
Yes. Brady has the biggest gap.
Brady has the biggest gap. I don't think I mean, the way I've looked at this, in a lot of different ways, I really think Brady has the biggest gap. And
agreed.
I will say this by also saying that, it's very impressive what, the Williams sisters have done. If you can say, Tiger Woods is the GOAT of golf, I mean, I guess maybe, but there's not one person that has been able to gap people by a significant amount except for Tom Brady. Tom Brady's accomplishments are tough. What, James? What, James? Oh boy, what is it?
I'm going to go with a curveball.
What are you going?
Because I don't even watch this. How is it not Wayne Gretzky?
Okay, so
I have a good reasoning for that too.
The
and I agree it isn't.
The reason it's not Wayne Gretzky is because you have you have a guy like Alexander Ovechkin, for example.
Mm-hmm. That's my argument.
Okay.
You have a guy like Alexander Ovechkin. He is on par to beat Gretzky's goal scoring record. Oh, and James is out.
I'm here.
Oh, you're still here, my bad. You turn the camera off. He's on par to beat the goal scoring record. And because that is so hard to do, especially where, you know, they changed the pad regulations, they changed the net regulations. It's a lot harder to score a goal nowadays. I mean, obviously, you know, you had a 7-5 game earlier today, but you're never going to have someone that has another, you know, have a 200-point season. But yet somehow Alexander Ovechkin is on par and actually on track to beat Wayne Gretzky at goal scoring. And so, yes, you're never going to get the same amount of points because the game has changed, but that record is still there to be broken, and it is still can be broken. You know, you have a guy like Patrick Marleau, who is 5th or 6th in games played all time. You know, that also doesn't change like that. You know, the games played is the games played, and there are still people that are doing that now versus back then, like people all time, like Gordie Howe, Mark Messier, guys like that. Most games played, but you have a guy like Patrick Marleau who's been in the league since 1994, and he's still going. So, you know, there are those kinds of records will be beaten. The goal scored looks like it will be beaten by Alexander Ovechkin.
Okay, but if you take that away, you're then talking about how Gretzky also led an assist by 900 assists.
Correct. So,
or how he leads in points by 1,000.
What?
Like on the all-time list, he is ahead of Gordie Howe.
Yeah.
By 1,000 points to the next number.
Right.
He is ahead of him on assists by
the scoring. So the scoring, right? The scoring that assists in points will never be broken. But I'm not just talking about that. It's all accomplishments. When you weigh everything in, you know.
So then
Brady,
why is Tom Brady the GOAT if Drew Brees has one of his records?
Well, but that's the thing. Brees isn't going to end up having that record after Brady's done, because Brees retired. Brady's still there. He's going to break the yards record. He's less than 1,000 yards away from it.
Yeah,
he's
but God forbid Brady steps on the field week 1 and snaps his leg and is like, I'm good.
Okay, but that's fine because it's not just about the individual achievements. It's about also winning. And Brady's won 7 Super Bowls, and I don't think that's ever going to be touched.
No, I can agree with that.
And I think because of championship pedigree and the fact that he's able to do it on a team sport, win 7 championships. Now he has more than Jordan. So he is the single most winningest individual player to win those kind of championships. Obviously, sans Bill Russell and probably some other players. But Bill Russell did it in an era where there were 6 teams. So
I guess to shed light on what you're saying, Zach, because I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky did absolutely incredible things.
No,
I mean, he'll always be a GOAT in my book.
Wayne Gretzky is the best hockey player of all time.
But we're seeing people like Ovechkin who have literally defied all the odds and can still potentially pass Gretzky at certain things.
Right.
And now he's not going to pass all of them, but like goals, he'll
never pass. He'll never get the assist. He'll never get the points.
To pass. And he still may pass that. With Brady, maybe a couple records will be broken because Brady has a lot of wild individual records.
But that's not necessarily true, though. Like, you know, yeah, it's a passing league right now, but you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You know, and I guess you could say the same thing for Gretzky too. Is like, you know, it's a goalie league right now. I mean, goals are tough to come by. You could get a change in the regulation of the pads and make it easier for people to score. And, you know, someone could go in and break that points record. And then that would even push Gretzky further down on the pedestal. But the thing for me for Brady is how consistent of a player he's been, how consistently he's made it to championship games. I mean, you know, going back and looking at all that stuff, I think that elevates him above the rest of his, you know, the people that are playing with them day in and day out. And I think it only proves it more now that he went to Tampa Bay, won a Super Bowl, first season, made it through, 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I mean, I'm just going to go out of the book and say Patrick Mahomes is going to end up being a Hall of Fame quarterback. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think we can agree with that.
Yeah,
but I don't think
whatever, but
Mahomes has plenty of healthy years ahead of him, and I think he'll be great.
Oh, he does.
But
he does. I don't
no
foresee...
one's gonna break the playoff appearances stat. No one will have more than Brady.
Because of his playoff success, it's going to be really tough to break total yards, total touchdowns, because he has a ton of yards and touchdowns in the playoffs. And adding it to overall, maybe regular season, sure. He's not the best regular season quarterback of all time. I still think that's Peyton Manning. But best overall quarterback, because you add the playoffs, I mean, he's right below Peyton Manning in the regular season. You add the playoffs, it's no competition. I mean, Brady is far well and beyond Peyton Manning in that, but we're not talking about the NFL. I'm talking about overall. And I think that, again, the way that Brady has been able to compete on a consistent basis to make it to the playoffs, to win playoff games, to absolutely ball out in the playoffs, he is just the ultimate competitor. And I think that he is well above and beyond anyone else in the football world right now. Whereas there are, players in basketball right now that match up to Jordan. LeBron matches up to Jordan in some ways. It's the thing with Gretzky, Alexander Ovechkin is shooting up the ranks. Even some people think Mario Lemieux is the greatest hockey player of all time. Some people think it's Bobby Orr still. You know what I mean? People hold on to their things. It's tough to pick an overall GOAT. But for at least for 2 years, ever since they won that 2018 Super Bowl, I mean, people have been calling Brady the GOAT of football. And I think that he has the biggest gap over anyone in football for being football's best player of all time. And I think you really can't argue here or there about, you can make a case for other sports. And I think that's the biggest detractor.
Okay. Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
So if we're going to talk about titles, right? Gretzky has 4 in his career.
Gretzky has 4.
Okay. Ovechkin has 1 at what age?
I don't know, 35.
So I'm going to say.
Right. But that's just Ovechkin though. But you have to think like a guy like Mark Recchi had 3.
Okay. But the 2 points we have in this conversation are Gretzky and Ovechkin, right? Is that what you're saying? Is Ovechkin's the next point beyond him, or Gordie Howe?
I'm just saying in terms of we're looking at individual records, goal scoring. The goal scoring one is the one that stands out because everyone's been, he's the best goal scorer of all time, blah, 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 blah. He did it in an era where goal scoring was, he scored 4 or 5 goals a night, basically, because goalies just they weren't.
So you think if you
that was ridiculous back then still, but
we didn't have the same stats?
I think if you put Gretzky in hockey now, he wouldn't have the same stats, no.
Okay, so who's his point B then? Who is the next point go? Because you've said a lot of names, but we haven't settled on one guy, which is what I'm trying to get at.
One guy that could fight Gretzky for number 1, like best hockey player of all time.
Right.
Oh, again,
it would be Gordie.
Again, there's really 3 names. There's Gordie Howe, there's Bobby Orr, and there's Mario Lemieux.
So you need 3 names to try to compete with one guy.
No, you don't need 3 names. What I'm saying is some people think it's Gordie Howe. Some people think it's Bobby Orr still. People in Boston, you got old timers in Boston, they still think it's Bobby Orr. I'm wearing a Boston.
You ask my grandfather, I'll tell you it's Bobby Orr.
Papa thinks it's Bobby Orr still. He still doesn't think it's Wayne Gretzky. He liked Wayne Gretzky. He still thinks it's Bobby Orr. So there's a generational thing with these. There's a generational thing. Anyone in Pittsburgh, ask anyone in fucking Pittsburgh, they will say Mario Lemieux. If you mention Gretzky's name, they will want to kick your ass. I promise you, it's a thing. It's bizarre.
I'll fight some Pittsburgh motherfuckers.
Yeah, but you bring up trouble there too, because if we go ask a Steelers fan who's the best football player of all time is, they're probably not going to say Tom Brady.
Yeah, they are. What are they going to say? Terry Bradshaw? You know it's not Terry Bradshaw. Come on.
If you have
What I'm saying,
a bias towards something,
but that's what I'm saying though, is that, but what I'm saying is you can make a case because the game is different. The game is just different now. Like for people in hockey, it's the eye test. For people in football, it's the stats. So you're trying to convince people who have had their minds made up for 20 years on who the greatest player is of all time. But with football, everyone has a consensus. It's Brady. Like, because it's just been pushed around so much recently. Like, before they won that Seattle Seahawks game, that Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl, they were saying Brady's the best ever. And, they kept going. The next Super Bowl they played against the Falcons, you had some people calling it already. Obviously, everyone in New England he's the greatest player of all time. Then they win their 6th Super Bowl, and that was it. Like, you can't really argue that at that point. You win 6 Super Bowls as your starting quarterback. The accolades are just too hard to break. On top of all of the regular season stats, all of the playoff stats, he has the rings, he has everything, and no player in the NFL is even close to what he's got. James?
I agree. But I think when you...
I've made my
arguments are a
point.
little
You just
flawed.
won't give me a point B. You won't give me a B player.
Okay.
You're giving me 3.
No. But
Montana.
you're misunderstanding. But there is no...
Gretzky.
James, it's because all of them could be.
Because all of them were good in a certain aspect. Wayne Gretzky was good all over.
No, that's
my
not true.
thing is
all 3 of those players were good all over. I mean, Gordie Howe still holds the record for most games played. Still.
I mean, yeah, Gordie Howe was fucking timeless.
Gordie Howe was nuts.
Would not die.
But you also have to take into account, these players don't play until they're 45. You have very small cases. And
Okay.
Brady is one of those players. He's gonna probably play until he's 45. How many times has he said that? How many times are we gonna stop believing him? He's most likely gonna play till he's 45. So you need a player that can play the exact way he did until they're 45 in order to beat touchdowns, yards, Super Bowls, all that shit. It's just not gonna happen. And I think that gap is way bigger than saying, oh, well, Wayne Gretzky has the most points of all time. That's great. But he's probably not going to have the most goals. He probably doesn't have the most assists of all time either. I honestly don't think he does.
Looked, he did.
so
he does.
I completely get what you're saying, Zach. I think the way you're explaining it is just a little off in the sense.
But it's
where,
not though. It's not, because you can't. In hockey, you can go to some other person and they'll give you a different answer as to who the greatest player of all time is. The fact that there is a debate there is the reason why I'm not giving it to Wayne Gretzky. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, but you're also bringing
Chris,
bias.
what did you say? If we go to Papa, who is he going to tell you the best hockey player of all time is?
Bobby Orr. I
Bobby
agreed
Orr.
with you.
No, I know that, but I'm trying to argue this with James because it's not getting through. And I want to make sure it makes sense before we move on. Like,
I mean, I'm still thinking we're trying to compare a point A and point B player.
No, we're not. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We're not. It's not like that. If there is a debate there, then there's not a big of a gap as you think there is what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, if we bring point A and
okay.
point B in, so James, before Brady, who would you have said was probably the best in football? Most likely, probably Joe Montana.
More likely than not, but Joe Montana's stats haven't held up for shit in recent history.
So that's the point. Brady has surpassed Montana if you use that as your point A and point B.
He's
so
doubled
much
almost
to the point
everything that
no
Joe
one
Montana's done.
I feel
Say that
like
again?
now I just didn't understand the question, and I'm confused more than ever.
Okay, all right.
That's why I asked you to explain it like I was
The question is,
Do
who
you
has
love
the
me?
biggest gap in their sport between, the GOAT and the next player? That's the question, right? Because
Oh, are you
there's
kidding me? That's what we've been debating this whole
Yes.
time?
Yes.
I thought we were debating, GOAT between answer 2. Are you
No.
fucking kidding me?
That's why
Yes,
I
that was
asked
the
you
whole
to
question,
explain it.
James. Yeah, who has a bigger gap in their sport? It's Tom Brady. Tom Brady has a bigger gap in his sport than Wayne Gretzky because you have other players that can catch up to his records, even though the league has changed, is what I'm saying. The league has changed. Yes, it's become more of a passing game, but you have legendary quarterbacks who weren't able to do what Brady did in the same time frame.
I mean, now I'm just confused. I'm going to be honest. I get what you're saying now, but I'm just all fucking.
All right,
fucked.
So
well,
the question was, are you high right now?
No, I'm sober. That's what we're.
Do you
he's
ever
just
get
confused.
nervous?
Are you saying
Very
though?
nervous in a crowd. All right, well, let's move on.
Zach, that was awful.
How was that awful? You didn't understand the question.
It's Tom Brady. I agree.
Who
It's
has a bigger
TB12.
gap than James? Go ahead. Who has a bigger gap in their sport?
My thighs.
Ooh, yeah, your thigh gap, sexy boy. Well, I'm skipping the gauntlet now because you pissed me off.
If you
Let's move right
explained it
on.
like he was 3, he would understand.
I did a good job of explaining it, and I was
I don't
trying
think
to
you
say
did because I debated a completely different topic than you did.
right, but I explained the question. I explained the question perfectly fine. You guys are just fucking dumb.
debating
don't
a
think so.
completely
Chris
I
and I
different
were
explained it
both
topic.
perfectly fine. I literally read it verbatim on what was on here, and then I read it again, and you were like, "Oh, that makes sense now." Like what?
I mean, no, because I thought we were debating. I said what I thought we were debating the entire time, point A and point B. And
Right,
you
but I
decided.
kept saying no. But I kept saying no. I kept saying no, James. There's no point B. It's because there is a debate.
Yeah, but I thought you were saying that in terms of like, no, there's no point B in the NFL. Once again, you just explained it poorly, Zach. It's all right. It's not your fault. It's your fault.
Moving on to the trash bag. Welcome back to the trash bag, BOTA trash bag. Fucking hate you too. We have Deshaun Watson. He's still in the trash bag. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
I couldn't
Deshaun
explain.
Watson.
Yeah,
Perennial
Deshaun Watson's in the
perennial.
trash bag.
Master debaters.
Deshaun Watson's going to be in the trash bag for probably the rest of this year.
Yeah, probably. COVID's in the trash bag again for ruining sports. Vancouver, news out of Vancouver that they obviously had 7 players on the COVID list. So we're attacking hockey again. We love that. Thanks, COVID. Trash bag. Yeah. The Red Sox in the trash bag still for putting up a goose egg on opening day. Yeah. And for losing again today.
Yeah, that's fair, actually.
Well,
Wow.
they deserve it. So,
Yeah, I don't feel them.
all right. Well,
I
apparently
don't got
I'm
much for the
also,
trash bag. I don't have much for the trash bag this week.
I'm also in the trash bag for, poorly explaining the debater's question, even though me and Chris both got it. So that's fine.
I asked you to explain it like I was 3. And I still don't think you understand the definition.
Which player has the biggest gap from other players in their sport? Tom Brady.
Michael Phelps. New
Fuck.
answer.
Fuck.
It's not Michael Phelps.
How is
But
it not
it's
Michael
Tom Brady.
Phelps?
But what Michael Phelps did
He has so many gold medals.
can be matched.
Let's move on.
If I start injecting my firstborn with steroids from
Chris,
the day he turns
PCP
1
Chris.
and just hold him underwater and get his breath stronger each day,
HGH Chris.
he could beat Michael Phelps.
Dude, we're gonna make it's gonna be water jam, except Chris is one of the monsters and he just saps Michael Phelps' swimming ability.
I want to point this out. Michael Phelps has 66 total gold medals, including 23 at the Olympic level.
Ridiculous. That's crazy.
Michael Phelps is my answer.
That's crazy. Yeah, Michael Phelps does have a pretty big gap, so I'll give you
Fuck
that.
you,
one.
Wayne Gretzky. It's Michael Phelps.
Yeah, see, if you had started with Michael Phelps, then we would have had an actual debate instead of me trying to sit here explaining it for 20 minutes. You fucking.
You're blaming
lard.
this on him?
Oh my god. I'm not blaming it on him. I'm just saying, make a better point next time, and maybe we'll fucking have somewhere to go. Gabagool. Anyways, guys, I have nothing else. that was a BOTA show for you. Anybody have anything else before we move on here? Before we shut down the show?
No.
What's our update look like on March Madness?
Gonzaga is winning right now by 4.
Gonzaga is up. Yeah, they're up 66-62. So stay tuned for that, guys. You will have your answer as to who's going to be playing Baylor in the championship probably within the next 20 minutes. So, but thank you guys so much for tuning in to the BOTA Show.
Oh wait, dude, you want to see Sophie going belly up?
Oh yeah, let's go.
Looks real weird.
Oh, Sophie. Oh, hi, Sophie. Hi,
Looks real
Sophie.
weird.
Sophie.
Wait, belly rubs for camera. Belly.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much again for tuning into the BOTA Show. You guys know where to find us. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're on Spotify. Stitcher's not a thing, so fuck that. Fuck that noise.
It's only
I
for
looked it up.
dogs.
I looked it up. It's not a
Hi, baby.
check out BOTA on YouTube, our BOTA YouTube page. We are live on there right now. If you're watching this video, you fucking found us. If you're listening to the audio, get your ass on there. Like and subscribe, please. We would love for you to do that. Check us out on Teespring. We got all our merch up there. Check out the website, the podcast website. We got it all, guys. We got it all. All right. Check us out on everywhere you possibly can, except for Stitcher. You find us on Stitcher. First of all, I'm calling the FBI. There is no two. I'm just gonna call the FBI.
That's it.
That's it.
They found
All
us
right.
on Stitcher, sir. Who are you?
I will get Nancy, my FBI agent. All right. I will make sure
Okay.
that she hears about this.
Is that
How
the
do you
one on
know
your
that you
phone?
have a
Because Nancy
female
might be
FBI
fucking
agent?
Yeah.
petrified.
No, Nancy's just the neighbor down the street that has a wiretap on my phone.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, we love that dude, right? Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, I'm Soggy Boy, and for Chris and James, this has been the BOTA Show.
Stay beautiful.
Stay soggy.
You
Stay
win
yabo.
it.
Yeah, I know I win, but that's okay.
Stay yabo.
Because
Stay yabo.
The master debaters.
Just gonna stay soggy.